Today I have some wood patriotic DIYs for you, all under $5. Today's video is part of a monthly playlist called What Would You Make? It's hosted by Rustic and Lace DIY, DIY Craftaholic, and guest hosted by Glue La La. For this project, I'm using some printouts that I downloaded from Etsy. Of course, in Louisiana, it's summer. Crawfish is a big thing, spring and early summer. And I'm also using 2 of these wood blocks that I got on clearance from Dollar General. I'm painting over the Easter graphics with some white chalk paint, 2 coats. Now I'm going to give each of these blocks a coat of Mod Podge. It doesn't matter whether it's matte or glossy or whatever, because it's going to be behind the project. But whatever you want your finish to be on the top, then that matters. So if you want your top glossy, then you'll use glossy. If you don't want it glossy, then you would use matte. But for this, I'm just going to coat these blocks with Mod Podge and then let it dry completely. I cut my graphics out a little larger than the wood pieces, and I'm just placing them down on top of the squares, and I'm going to be using my little mini iron to iron over the graphic. This will reactivate the Mod Podge and allow the graphic to stick. Now I mentioned the kind of finish you wanted on top. This one I am using some Mod Podge crackle finish. And it's actually different than other crackle finishes because you can actually use this on paper. None of the other crackle finishes that I tried actually worked on paper. So I'm going to give this a coat of Mod Podge with the crackle effect, and I'm being pretty liberal with it. Once you have it on, you want to let it dry completely. And what I did after it was dry, and I forgot to record, was I took some antique wax and I went over the crackles so that it would make it look a little bit aged. And here's a look at the completed project. I got this wood piece at a thrift store. It was marked $6, but I did get it half off, so it was only $3, brand new, and I couldn't wait to DIY with it. So for this one, we're going to have a neutral, patriotic piece that I think you'll really love. I'm using some painter's tape to do some spacing here to make a flag-like design. So the top left, of course, is where the stars go, and then I'm using the rest of it as stripes. I did use a piece of painter's tape to put in between my stripes so that they would all be even. I did make a mistake here, so let's see if you can figure out what it is before I finish. Once I had all the tape down, I did go over it with this plastic piece here that I used for rub-on transfers, just to make sure that all the edges were adhered down nicely. Now, I did not have a stencil for a star, so I used a Dollar Tree star and some painter's tape to make my own stencil. So don't think that you have to spend money on stencils. If you've got painter's tape and you have a simple design, you can do this as well. Once I have it completely cut out, I'm just going to peel it off and place it down on that top left corner. Now I'm using some white chalk paint and this sponge brush, and I'm just going to dab it around the stars and in between all of the stripes. And again, see if you see the mistake that I made. Once that's completely done, I went ahead and pulled up that tape, and I did not do a full coat on any of these stripes. I did want it to look kind of rustic. So let's see if you see my mistake now. And there she is. Thank goodness this is an easy fix, and I'm just going to fix that with more tape and a little more paint. And crisis averted. I think this is a really nice piece just the way it is, but I did make a little addition at the end here. I want to see how you like it. If you like it, hit that thumbs up button. This third wood DIY, I'm using this piece that I got at the Goodwill bins. It looks like it was from Walmart a long time ago. Those are old Walmart stickers. So I'm using some Mod Podge. I'm just going to cover up the front of it. I didn't have any luck getting that paper off, so I decided I would just cover it up. So I'm giving it a good coat of Mod Podge, and I'm going to let it completely dry. Now this is a piece of music out of an old children's music book that was falling apart, so I don't feel too bad about using it. I am going to rip around all the way around the edges so that I get the same look on each side. Once I have it the right size, I'm going to place it down and use my little mini iron to iron over the music, paying special attention to the edges so that it doesn't peel up. The heat will reactivate that Mod Podge and allow that paper to stick nicely. Now I printed this off of my computer, and I'm using some carbon paper, and I'm just going to trace that onto the music. Now this does not turn out how I wanted it to, so I do make a change, but I liked the idea of it. I did not like the way this turned out, and there wasn't anything I could do about it at this point except change it. Maybe if the letters had been much larger, maybe it would have looked better. So I decided to either use a napkin or use these little chipwood cutouts from the Dollar Tree. The little firework pieces were way too white for this piece, so I did use some antique wax, and I rubbed it all over the front and decided that these were what I would use to replace those words. This is not what I had envisioned, but they do fit nicely and they do cover up those words. So that's what I went with. I simply used some Titebond glue to glue them onto the piece, and then this project was finished. Which do you think would have looked better, larger words or these little fireworks that I used? Let me know in the comments below. We want to take this time to thank our hosts again today. Be sure and check out their channels down in the description box along with the playlist. If you haven't already subscribed to their channels or anyone in the playlist, go ahead and do that now. We certainly appreciate it. Here's another video I think you might like. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.